Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm good morning, everyone. This is Annie Miraj Kidwai, and you're watching Vertex, the solution of every need. I hope you all are doing wonderfully well, keeping yourself happy, sanitized, and vaccinated, taking precautions, of course, and soon collaboratively we can work out the situation and come out of this soon. So do not panic and do not worry about it at all. If you would like to know more about me, go and check out my website, that is www.vertexthesolution.com, and you will find all the details about me there. So what I'm going to talk about in this video, I'm taking up a Q&A here. Again, I'm taking a question sent by Santosh to me on my mail. So she said that she studies in a college. The background I'll give you, she studies in a college and she has friends, of course, group of friends there, and her best friends always try to, she feels that she's my best friend, but she always try to put me down, or she sometimes feel that she can't trust her friend the way she behaves at times in public places or in front of other people or in front of the family or other people. She tries to demean her or try to put her down or try to cut her off in communications at times. And she spoke about that I don't like this at all, what she do. But still, when she tries to cut off, the communication to an extent where, it's hurtful to her, so she again starts crying and apologize and then come back and then say all of that it's just it's her thought and all of that. So it was a pretty long email. I'm telling you in brief, this is just the background of the question. So Santosh, now I cannot say that your friend might be suffering from any psychological problems, but whatever mail you have written to me, and I've read that mail in detail, so I can say that certain situations where if your friend had behaved in such a way is of course will affect you and your relationships when you call her as a best friend or as a close person to you, okay, in your social circle, right? So every relationship needs some sort of elements to work, and the elements of those relationships are trust, okay, respect and love. Now, it's not necessary that love and trust and respect are always in such relationships, like a relationship in your intimate relationship, like for your spouse or your fiance or certain relationships, but it happens in every relationship, even between an employee and an employer as well, when you work, even between a teacher and a student, okay, even in a society, in between neighbors as well, right? So these kind of elements work in every type of relationship. First is trust, second is respect, and third is love, okay? So if certain elements are lacking somewhere in a relationship, then it is not a healthy relationship. It is a toxic relationship, it is an abusive relationship, be it of friends, be it of spouses, be it of any sort of a relationship you share, a professional one as well, right? So now, this is what is self-esteem. If you read about Maslow described the pyramidal need, human pyramidal need. If you read about the hierarchy of needs, he talk about the self-esteem. So, of course, your self-esteem will be affected when you will be into certain kind of relationships, and it will be affected more when you do not understand certain kind of relationships, right? So it's very important that you draw boundaries. If your self-respect, if your self-esteem is getting affected, you draw boundaries there and ignore such kind of people, okay? The best thing that you can do is to ignore such people. Probably they are around you, probably you know them in person for years, but still you can draw boundaries with them when they are abusive in nature, when they are toxic in nature. Now, this is one part of your question. Coming to the next part, that what is the problem here? Now, to determine somebody is suffering from any psychological issue, a psychiatric issue, or a personality disorder, one has to have a communication with that person, and there are many types of tests, and sometimes we have to observe the behavior of that person in person while having a conversation. Then we can draw conclusion whether a person is suffering from any personality disorder or certain. But at times when we analyze behavior of individuals, we can of course share some insights about it, that this might be the situation. So there is a term, we can say that it might be. Okay, it's not necessary it is, but it might be. So one thing is inferiority complex. Inferiority complex is quite common. Now, why inferiority complex crops up in individual? Okay, I'm not saying that your friend might be having inferiority complex. Maybe there are some other issues also. But as far as the situations I've read, I can say that somewhere it is the feeling of insecurity and inadequacy, because at times when you have inferiority complex, when you have a feeling of inadequacy in yourself, insecurity in yourself, you constantly try to compare yourself with other people around you, in your peer group, on social media platforms, amongst your family members, amongst your friends, in a team, if you're working in your office. And definitely this kind of feeling creates a thought process in your mind, and that thought process is toxic and it's negative in nature. Now you constantly, with whomever you're feeling that feeling of inferiority or inadequacy in comparison to that individual, you definitely try to seek validation from others around them, sometimes in a common setting, sometimes on social media platforms, right? Now, the validation can be about the career. Okay, sometimes people need validation that okay, we are also doing this, we are also doing that, ye sab wo hum bhi, we are also running such business or generating income, and मेरी salary इतनी है, उसकी salary इतनी है. So this kind of a comparison somewhere is built on toxicity of thought process, and it affects the mental health as well as social life of individuals. Social, of course, when you keep on comparing yourselves, you may start behaving in that way with people around you, and certainly it will affect your professional or personal relationships with people. And then you seek validation from others around you, right? So this happens because of low self-esteem. Okay, you have low self-esteem somewhere. I'm not saying you have, I mean to say that people who may do this or who are doing this, they have self-esteem issues, right? They do not feel confident about themselves. Now, having strong self-esteem or boosting self-esteem, there's a huge difference in between both, right? When you have strong self-esteem, you're confident, you do not have time to see what others are doing around you. You're focused on your own self, you're focused on your own life. You do not need validation, or you do not need to seek validation from others. Now, why this inferiority complex crops up? Because of low self-esteem. Now, inferiority complex is not any sort of a mental disorder. Okay, inferiority complex is a feeling of insecurity and inadequacy that can lead to social disorders, social anxiety disorders, depression. Okay, so many of the times when people starts comparing themselves, okay, अच्छा वो इंसान ऐसे कर रहा है, अच्छा वो इंसान वैसा कर रहा है अपनी ज़िंदगी में, अच्छा उसके बाल ऐसे हैं, उसके बाल ऐसे हैं, her eyes are like this, his income is like that, or ये वो, people starts to compare themselves a lot. Okay, and then they need to seek validation from others about themselves to boost their confidence and their self-esteem as well. So it has nothing to do with you. Now, what you should do now, this feeling of unworthiness, that they feel that I am unworthy of achieving this, I am unworthy in my own self. So that's how they create certain kind of a thought process. Now, what you should do, you can talk to them about it, talk to your friend about it. In case if she takes your feedback, it's good, it's fine, or at least you can share your feelings with her that, okay, you make me feel this way and I am not liking this. Drawing boundaries are very important for yourself, because this kind of a constant abuse will put you into a state where your self-esteem, your emotional well-being will be affected. And that is why we educate people about mental disorders, about mental health, about human behavior, because certain kind of behavior creates emotional and physical, sometimes physical abuse, sometimes emotional abuse, psychological abuse in individuals. That is why it is very important to understand that what we should do and how to read human behavior. So reading human behavior is extremely important to understand. So draw boundaries, draw strong boundaries with that individual. Cut down your communication with certain individual, because it will hamper the productivity of your life in your personal and professional life. Okay, and the most important point here is to remember that you are beautiful the way you are successful the way you are. You do not need to compare yourself with any individual in the world. Okay, you lead your way, you have your own happiness. Just remember this and keep doing whatever you are doing in your life, okay, without thinking much about what others are doing about themselves, right? So just do not think like this. Draw boundaries with certain individuals. Have strong conversations. If they understand it, that's great enough. If they do not understand it, you cannot, affect your health, right? So it's very important that you should not get affected because of certain mental health issues of other people around you. So that is why we educate people, so that they get themselves saved from certain abuses, mental abuses, physical abuses, emotional or psychological abuses that people try to create on others' life. Okay, and for those, it's very important to stop comparing yourself. I've already made a lot of videos on my channel, so you can please go and watch those videos and um, try to make small goals for yourself. Okay, try to make small goals and then try to achieve those goals, because comparisons will not lead you anywhere. It is only a self-sabotaging behavior, a self-sabotaging attitude. At the end of the day, the output and the outcome should come, okay, whatever actions you're doing. So just think and evaluate for a second that whatever you are saying, whatever you're trying to do, will it bring any kind of an outcome or output in your life? Okay, will be comparing yourself to other individual or seeking validation in this way will benefit you in any way? If it is benefiting you in some way, if it is bringing you any sort of a positive change in your life, then it's not a mental health issue. But if it is somewhere affecting, just imagine and think this, that if somewhere it is affecting your relationships with people around you, you are not, you know, um, uh, getting anywhere in your life ahead. Okay, just constantly seeking validation doesn't help. The outcome should be there, the output should be there, and it should reflect, right? So you need to understand that, are there any actual figures? Are there any actual figures of output or outcome because of certain behavior? If there are none, then of course it is just the issue. There is some sort of an issue of comparisons, self-esteem issues, or certain issues. And of course it can be rectified, it can be counseled, it can be improved for a more improved mental health, and for more improved social life, and more improved happiness in your life as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.